Rebel fans? Welcome back to another Runnin with the Rebel show with Rafael Gonzalez, your host here. And this is going to be called the Day After Report. I was thinking about doing the video right after the game when I got home, or just waiting until the next day. And I think waiting till the next day is a little bit better. It kind of takes my emotions out of it. I was super exhausted yesterday, screaming and yelling at the game, and it also helps me time just to prepare what I want to do for this. So I think it's going to be the day after the game that I'll release these videos in the future when I do the day after report. But welcome back, everybody who watched the first episode. Today, we're just going to be going over a recap of the game, what I feel are some of our weaknesses and what we did well, and then talk about our next opponent coming up as well. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in to today's episode. And oh boy, is all I gotta say is oh fucking boy. Yeah, the defense is struggling. I will say that right off the gate. It's hard to describe because how bad it was. Turnovers really saved us defensively if we didn't get the amount of turnovers that we did, and a lot of it. I wouldn't say a lot of it, but I think half of the turnovers that happened in the game were just because of, honestly, Idaho State's QB making really bad decisions, and a couple in the red zone, I believe. One for sure in the red zone. I think there was another one that was in the red zone or just outside of it, and those really helped us out. But let's go over the box score a little bit. I don't know if I can show the box score on screen, so I'm just going to talk about it overall here. But Calandria had 195 yards, one touchdown. Orgy went 3 for 3 for 37 yards. I didn't like the way that they switched the quarterbacks series after series after series after one series for each quarterback at the beginning of the game. I thought it kind of took them out of rhythm and didn't give them a chance really to kind of get in rhythm and get that kind of flow of the game going. But I like what I saw from Calandria. I know a lot of people are kind of giving him shit and saying he's holding the ball a little bit too long, but to me, he didn't get the protection that he needed, especially towards the left side of the line. I believe it was the left tackle that in one series gave up back-to-back sacks and really just let his man, just the defender, blow right by him. And so I kind of liked what I saw from Calandria. He hit the checkdowns when he needed to get us some yardage. He ran the ball when he needed to as well. I think he can extend plays with his feet. Orgy is also a good runner, but I think he's more physical. And I think in that aspect, what we did towards the second half, where we kind of used him in short yardage situations, I think was fantastic. And I think that's what we kind of need to do moving forward to give us the best shot at winning these games. It's not to say that Alex Orgy can't throw the ball downfield, but when you put him in on these second and short, right, second and 4, second and 5 and under, or third and short, under, and third and 4, 5 and under situations, it really will throw the defense off because they're going to be looking for him to be a physical runner if he does have the ball, but he still has the ability to throw the ball if needed. And so I think hopefully that's how we go moving forward down the line. Jet was phenomenal. Jet was probably the highlight of the game. Jaden Thomas went 10 carries, 147 yards, averaged 14.7 yards a carry, had 2 big runs. We need to get the ball in his hands more. For Calandria to get Anthony Calandria to get more touches than him on running, and I shouldn't say touches, but him just scrambling. I think we need to focus on getting Jet more touches when it comes to the offense. But yeah. Overall, defensively here, if we go down, Jaden Brandley had a fantastic game for us as wide receiver. 6 catches, 131 yards. He was really the only wide receiver that kind of stepped up, I think, and made some plays. He had the deep catch downfield for 47 yards in the second half that kind of set us up for, I believe it was a touchdown. And yeah, the fumble, the only fumble that we had offensively was from Alex Orgy at the beginning of the game, and I'll go over that a little bit later as we go over the offense. But I really want to talk about the defense initially because, oh boy, I don't know any way to describe it. Any way you can describe bad or terrible was kind of how our defense played. We gave up 555 yards to an FCS team. And that to me is kind of unacceptable if you want to be a high-level Division I team. Just way too many mistakes all around, honestly. We got no pressure on the ball. The stat sheet says that we did get 1 sack with Marcel McDuffie, but that was on the intentional grounding, and I think they're just giving the sack to the closest defender that was to the quarterback on the intentional grounding. Other than that, we didn't touch the quarterback at all. We didn't grit him down to the ground really at all. We might have pressured him a couple times, He might have fell to the ground a couple times, but not enough in my instances that I seen at the game to justify how we played. Zero, like I said, zero sacks across the board except for the intentional grounding one where they gave to Marcel McDuffie. And the secondary looked lost. Not only the secondary, I'll get into the secondary in a second because they did look lost, but talking about the D line, the spacing and the gapping is just insane. There was way too many inside runs where Idaho State was able to break out and get a ton of yardage on us. 20 plus yard runs, 15 plus yard runs multiple times in the game. 5, 6 times, maybe, I think, something like that. Don't get me wrong. Their running back is good. Deshaun Brooks, he had 18 carries for 132 yards for 2 touchdowns. But, man, it was way too many times that they broke free on an inside run that just, to me, screams problems. And we need to make some kind of adjustments coming up into this next game. And we have a short week going into the Sam Houston game, too. I'll talk about more of that later. But yeah, the secondary, going back into the secondary now, look lost a lot of the game, especially uh, in the first half, completely lost, broken coverage a lot of times for deep passes, and then even in the second half where we kind of shored things up a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Towards the end of that game, I saw a lot of DBs looking over to the sideline, doing this, and then getting beat on coverage or just absolutely getting blown on coverage. And that to me needs to get fixed and shaped up. Jake Pope did have 10 total tackles. He had 6 solo tackles, but I don't think a DB should be the leader in tackles. Jake seemed to be lost in coverage. He did really well once the ball was caught and to get there and make a tackle, but I'd like to see more pass deflections. He had 0 pass deflections on the day. Means he really wasn't there in coverage, breaking up any passes or anything like that. Amaris Brown did well. There was the gentleman who caught the 2 interceptions. Let me go down here and check real quick, but he played coverage well as too. LaTerrence Welch, he had 2 interceptions for us. Marcel McDuffie got one late for us too. Big time step up from the leader on the defense there when we needed it because we were kind of struggling. Like I said, 38-31 against an FCS school when you gave up 555 yards. But Marcel stepped up, got a big interception too late in the game. But LaTerrence Welch and Amaris Brown, I think, did a lot better job of covering the wide receivers and making pass deflections. As I can see here, it looks like Amaris Brown had 2 pass deflections. He seemed to be there every once in a while, but overall, the defense played very, very bad. Lots of deep throws. Gap coverage on the defensive line and linebackers was almost non-existent at times, and just breaking out huge runs. And that's going to be a problem if you go up against a good running back or a good offensive line. And that's something that we definitely need to shore up heading into the future. Going back to the offense and speaking about the offense more, I really don't want to speak more about the defense because I don't know how anywhere else to say it but bad. Any kind of way to describe terrible or bad or horrendous or any other adjectives that you want to put in there on how we did. Literally the turnovers, like I said, were kind of saved face for the defense and really kept us in the game because if the defense doesn't get the 4 turnovers that we got, and it's 4 interceptions. And like I said, 2 of them were probably extremely bad throws. Not even probably. I would say they were really, really bad throws by the Idaho State quarterback. Thank God he threw them, right? Because if we only get 2 turnovers, right, and he doesn't make those bad throws on the other 2, we probably lose the game. I hate to say it, we probably lose the game, And so the decision making on the Idaho State QBs what led to a couple turnovers, in my opinion. And then there was a couple turnovers like the Marcel McDuffie one, because that you can say was a bad decision making, but quarterback tried to make a throw to a guy cutting across the field. Marcel Duffy was playing back, stepped into the throw. I think it was a good defensive play by Marcel and not necessarily a bad decision by the Idaho State quarterback. But we definitely need work. Speaking about offense, I think the offense looks fine. I honestly say I think the offense wasn't too bad. Of course, we need to shore some things up here. But if you look at it, we scored 38 points. We left about 13 points on the field. The Alex Orji fumble at the 1-yard line that gets recovered by Idaho State and becomes a touchback was a killer at the beginning of the game. That should have set us up momentum-wise to kind of get us going. But instead, we end up getting a turnover. We go down early, and it was kind of a fight to get back the entire game. And then the 2 missed field goals. So that if you account those, field goal kicking is something that I want to talk about too here. might need a new kicker. I don't know. When you go 1 for 3 in your opener, we'll see how he does next game. But if you miss a couple more in the next game too, you might have to make a decision to make a move there if we have another kicker on the team. I don't know how that goes, but that's 13 points left on the field. If you add that to the total of our point total, that's 51 points that we scored. It's a 20-point game that we're talking about instead of a 7-point game, and I think people are a little bit more okay with what happened, right? But 31 points regardless, given up to like I said, an FCS school and 555 yards is definitely something that we need to shore up here in the future. Offensively, though, like I said, we're looking good. Jet looks good. I like what Calandria is doing back there. If we bring Orgy in short yardage situations and still give him the option to run or pass, don't just keep him as a straight runner, but make the defense kind of guess when he's in there, I think things would look really well. I don't like the mixing and matching every series, right? I think you should name Calandria the starter, have Alex Orgy as your short yardage guy, and then some of the wide receivers need to break out. Like I said, Jaden Bradley had a good game. He had 131 yards receiving. Everybody else had less than 25 yards receiving on our team. And so that's something that we definitely need to shore up on the wide receiver end there. And we need to create space, right, and separation when running our routes to help Calandria out, because the protection as well wasn't the greatest. And that's something that the most concerning to me on the offensive end was the protection for the quarterback. A lot of the times it seemed like Calandria only had a couple seconds maybe to throw the ball, and he already had somebody in his face. We need to do a better job of protecting him in the backfield. He does have happy feet a little bit, but he can make plays with his feet, so I think it's okay for him to run when he thinks it's necessary. And as long as he gets some passes up, like I said, he had 195 yards passing, 15 to 21 with 1 touchdown, no interceptions, protected the ball, and that's very important when especially with the way our defense is playing, is to protect the ball, right? And so Orgy had the fumble. Hopefully he learns from that. He looks like he kind of holding the ball loose even towards the fourth quarter when he had that touchdown too. And he needs to make sure he's holding that ball tight and protect that ball to make sure that we don't have these costly turnovers. But again, I think the offense is going to be okay. I think Dan knows what he's doing, and offensively, and I think we'll be okay offensively. But yeah, and then going into next week's game, we're playing Sam Houston State. I'm currently watching the second half of the Sam Houston State game. I will say I think they're very beatable. I think their defense played like our defense did and didn't play very well whatsoever in the game. They did have a defensive touchdown off a fumble recovery. So the offense only scored 17 points total in the game for them. But I think it's a winnable game for sure. They do have some running backs that are decent from what I'm seeing here, which is the Alton McCaskill. He looks very strong. He looks like he can break and hit some holes. So we have to shore up our gapping on the defensive line. And we're going to have to put a tiny bit of pressure on their quarterback. Their quarterback, not only a decent passer, he went 19 for 30 in the game. He had 1 interception, no touchdowns, but he is a runner too. He's a dual threat guy that can get out of the pocket. He can make some plays. He had like a long, I think it was it a 45? It was a 55-yard long touchdown run. Granted, Western Kentucky kind of broke down and left the middle completely open, but he does have speed. He can run the ball, and that's something that we have to take into account on a short week as well coming into it. But like I said, we have a short week. We're going to be going to Sam Houston. From my understanding, I heard on the broadcast, in the Sam Houston broadcast, that they're not going to be playing their games in their very small, I think it's like 15,000 or seat stadium. They're doing renovations, and so they're going to be playing in Energy Shell Field, I believe is what it's called, in Houston. So they're going to be playing in a lot bigger stadium with hopefully the same amount of crowd. And if that's the case, the home field advantage kind of situation might be taken away from them, which is a benefit to us. Lots of work to do. I want to try to keep these videos short and under 15 to 20 minutes. So I will wrap it up here shortly. But predictions for next week, I still think we win. It's going to be a tougher game for sure, I think. But the way their defense played makes me feel okay that our offense can put a lot of points on them. It's whether or not our defense shows up to play next week. Because the thing is if we don't get the turnovers that we did, like in today's game, and Hunter Watson on Sam Houston State looks like he has a little bit better decision making. Maybe doesn't have the arm as much, right? But like I said, he can run the ball too, so his decision making is going to be a lot better. I don't think they get. I don't think he's going to throw the ball into bad coverage as much. And I don't think we're going to get 4 turnovers again, right? And so basically, what I'm saying is the defense is going to have to shore up the amount of yards given because you can't rely on the turnovers every single game. But I think we win. I think it might be something like a 31-21 game, 31, maybe 24 game, something like that. Uh, I would like to say more, but the way the defense played this week is concerning to say the least. And so if we shore up that stuff on the defensive end, even a little bit, if we can just cut down the yardage in half, yeah, that's wishful thinking. But like I said, you can have a bend but don't break mentality, but you can't give up the gashing runs and the deep play pass after deep play pass that we did this last game if you want to be in contention to win the Mountain West Championship game. I do think there's going to be some games that we thought might be a cakewalk for us this year that are going to be a lot tougher. Going to Miami of Ohio, playing at Miami of Ohio is going to be a tough game. I really do. They tend to be decent at football, and maybe not necessarily great, but they make bowl games quite a bit. I think it's going to be a tough game going up there. It could be cold, could be muggy, could be rainy. A lot of those MAC games later on in October and in September, October can get kind of messy. And so we're going to have to be prepared for that game coming up. The UCLA game's obviously going to be a lot tougher than we anticipated, especially with the defense. So to me, I think everything hinges on if the defense starts to improve over the years. Paul Gunther, you have a lot of work to do, my man. I'm going to say that right now. A lot of people were shitting on you in the offseason, saying it was the wrong hire after Zach Arnett left for unfortunate reasons. Keep your shit in your pants. That's all I say. I don't know if the rumor's true or not, but supposedly it's a whole Wendy's fiasco. Go look into it if you guys want. But yeah, I really wish we would have had Zach Arnett, but we don't. We have Gunther. A lot of people were shitting on him in the offseason, like I said, because of the way that he ran the defense on the Raiders, and it looked like the same shit defense here. Not gonna lie. I want to be as honest as possible. Anybody who wasn't at the game, it looked bad. It looked really bad. Some of the worst defense that I've seen in a long time. I'm talking about back to Arroyo and like Sanchez days and beyond. We've been blessed the last 2 years. Like I said, last 2 years, our only real problem I thought was the deep pass, but we've got a lot more problems now defensively. So hopefully that's something that we can shore up in the future. And yeah, last but not least, any fan thoughts? If you guys got any questions, if you guys want to rebuttal on some of the stuff that I said, you think I might be wrong, you think I might be right, shoot me a comment down below. Give me a like or a follow or a subscribe, I should say, if you guys are enjoying the content as well. And if you guys want to do any more reading up on kind of Rebel football, basketball, or anything like that, there is a UNLV Rebel blog called The Rebel Raid, and I'll put that down in the description below. I'll put a link in the description for that, where you guys can come shoot the shit, talk to other Rebel fans who are passionate about the program and whatnot. Other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Runnin with the Rebel show, the day after report, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, go UNLV. Go fight, win, baby. Let's go.